Hi kids. This is my first attempt at this, so bear with me as we start with our first unit here on ancient Greece. I'm going to just give you a little brief introduction into ancient Greece and how it started, and then I'm going to jump into what we'll be doing kind of right away. So here is a quick little presentation, a little slideshow on ancient Greece, and give you a little background information. I'm hoping that you'll watch this, take some notes, and if there were to be a quiz on this, quick little quiz tomorrow, hope that you would be able to pass that quiz. So, here is a map of the area of ancient Greece, where Greece first started. For frame of reference, here's your Mediterranean Sea, Egypt, which was a major civilization earlier, down here to the south, and over here you have the Hittite Empire, which was also a major empire early on in civilization. If you look in this area, however, you've got two different, well, one island and one peninsula. The Mycenae city was right there, and Knossos down here. Down here, this is, as I was just saying, the island of Crete is where the Minoans first started, and the Mycenaeans were here. These are two different groups, and as you'll see here, these two different groups blended together to form the form Greece. On the island of Crete, the Minoans, we call that civilization the Minoans because we named it after King Minos. King Minos we know about because we found his palace at the ancient city of Knossos, which was gorgeous. You can look that up, do a little Google image search of the palace of Knossos. You'll see all these very decorative paintings and things from thousands of years ago. How intricate some of the work was and how beautiful it was. It's pretty impressive. The Mycenaean civilization started on, as I showed you, on that peninsula. They had kind of slowly migrated over from Asia, and they not. You look at the palace of Knossos and you go, wow, these people had a lot of interest in art and things. This is a pretty civilized group of people. The Mycenaeans, not so much. Very warlike people who like to fight and just take others' stuff. The legend of the Trojan War, the great story of the Trojan horse and all of that, is thought to have been an actual war that occurred and involved the Mycenaeans, to give you kind of an idea about that. We know that story because of Homer, the ancient Greek poet, who his poems were not written, they were spoken, because he was a blind poet who would just tell stories, but he told the story of the Trojan War, and then later people wrote that down. But you might, in English, read the Iliad and or the Odyssey, and that Homer's poems were made into that, and that's the story of the Trojan War, and that's how we know it today. It's just a little bit of an aside. Ancient Greece eventually develops. The Minoans and the Mycenaeans blend together, and they create ancient Greece. But ancient Greece was very much a loose collection. Even though it's one thing, we talk about it as like one almost country in that sense. We would think about it today. It's actually a bunch of individual states, cities that we call states. We would think of as states in this day and age. The Greek word for that is polis. That's where we get words like politics and things like that in today's date. But in each city-state, you would build an acropolis in the center of town, center of your city, up on the big hill. You build something like this. This is in Athens. This is the ruins of an acropolis in Athens from years ago. Shows you how high on the hill and in the very middle of everything it was. It was the center of their life. The center of everything. It was around that would be all the shopping places and all of that sort of thing. Each polis, generally speaking, early on was run by a king, But some of those kings got out of control with their power, and they became known as what we call tyrants, and we'll talk much more about tyrants and dictators and things like that much later on this year. So sometimes the people fought back from that and tried to take power away from those tyrants and those kings that were expressing too much power, and they forced more than one person to take power, and a small group of people, if they form power, is called an oligarchy. Some lie went as far as creating democracies, and we'll see that for the first time in history, where the people have a say in their government, which is obviously something where there's your definition of democracy, something that we in the United States think very highly of. Two of the most important city-states were Athens and Sparta. These city-states were very, very different in a lot of ways. And what we're going to do is delve into these city-states, and you guys are going to do a little bit of we're going to have a debate over Athens and Sparta. Athens on the peninsula over here, and Sparta on the Mycenaean peninsula over here. Find where Sparta is located becomes connected to their Mycenaean heritage. Eventually what we're going to do, you guys are going to research these two city-states, and we're going to have a little debate and try to find out which city-state would have been a better place to live. So I hope you were able to follow along here. We'll discuss some of this in class, potentially take a little quiz on some of the things I just said, and we'll see how this works. And hopefully, if this goes well, and maybe even if it doesn't, we're going to do some of these throughout the year. All right, kids. See you in class.